Rafale or Super Hornets are interim arrangement only, says Navy on mega fighter deal. New Delhi, as US firm Boeing competes against France's Dassault Aviation for Indian Navy's mega fighter deal, Vice Chief Vice Admiral S.N. Ghormade Thursday said the new aircraft will only be an interim arrangement until the indigenous twin-engine deck-based fighter, TEDF, gets ready. The Navy made it clear that the force was only going to purchase 26 new fighters and a decision will soon be taken on whether it will procure the FA-18 Super Hornet of Boeing or the Rafale M of Dassault Aviation. The development comes as the Navy is set to commission its first indigenous aircraft carrier on the 2nd of September, with fighter trials to start on board only by November this year. While India will soon be operating two aircraft carriers, INS Vikramaditya and soon-to-be commissioned INS Vikrant, the fighters for them are not enough. India currently operates 42 MiG-29K of Russian origin, but these have been plagued by serviceability issues, with indications that availability ratio of these aircraft is less than 45%. While the most promising timeline for indigenous TEDF to start trials is 5 to 7 years from now, the Navy would need additional fighters to fully operate two aircraft carriers in their true potential. There is a timeline that is there for the TEDF. It will take about 5 to 7 years for its first flight and we need an interim aircraft. And hence the trials have been done and a report is being prepared, Vice Admiral Ghormade said, while responding to a query on the aircraft carrier during a press conference ahead of the commissioning of Vikrant. He was referring to trials done by both Hornet and Rafale to showcase their ability to take off from the Indian aircraft carrier. Twin-engine deck-based fighter is future of Navy. Vice Admiral Ghormade made it clear that TEDF was the future of the Navy and the force was working closely with the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, to make the project a success. Asked about the availability of MiG-29K to operate from the two aircraft carriers, he said we have limited numbers. We will utilize them to be operationally deployed on the Vikrant. Normally, we are able to deploy 12 aircraft and we will do that. He said Navy personnel have been maintaining the aircraft and all necessary parts are being procured from Russia despite its ongoing war with Ukraine. Speaking on the sidelines, Navy officers also confirmed that the force was looking at buying just 26 new fighters, either the Super Hornet or the Rafale M, and there would be no additions. While the original plan was to buy 57 new fighters, the Navy has now decided to go for 26. However, sources underline that any future plans of additional aircraft purchase will depend on how the TEDF timelines are met because some of the MiG-29Ks would be decommissioned over the next 1 decade. The Navy was looking at procuring fighters on its own rather than with the Indian Air Force. In 2020, then Navy Chief Admiral Karambir Singh had said that the force was trying to work with the IAP for a possible joint procurement. Geopolitics surrounding the deal. There is also a diplomatic and geopolitical aspect to India's decision, as France has been India's time-tested partner in advanced defense technology. In contrast, the US has historically been reluctant to share cutting-edge technologies with India. Also, New Delhi has always valued its strategic autonomy in the international geopolitical landscape, which is evident from its stance on the current Ukraine crisis, where India refused to deploy Russia for invading Ukraine despite the pressure from the US and other Western countries. I believe both the fighters Rafale M and F-18 Super Hornets are great warplanes and would be a tremendous addition to the Indian Navy. Both fighters have demonstrated their capability to operate from the Indian aircraft carrier, and both of them are powerful, battle-tested platforms. Now it's a political decision and finally boils down to value additions that the US and France can offer to India. Keeping both the powerful camps happy, It could very well be Super Hornets for the Indian Navy and Rafale fighters for Indian Air Force, the expert concluded.